So I'm going to read from my novel Bellhammers. I want to see how it plays before a live audience. So thank you guys for having me. That winter it was so cold that there's snow on the ground and ice. And it took forever to get the car started, so he grabbed a washer and an old Cracker Jack diamond and he glued one to the other. And he went to driving with Beth and he faked like his magic Chevy broke down the road because of a flat tire on Beth's side. So he got out the car and he walked around to the tire and he started hitting it with a tiny wrench he brought along, just this little tink. And then a tink and a pause and a tink. He knew the thing would annoy her eventually. Beth rolled down her window. Are you okay? Could you get out and help me? He said, I need an extra set of hands to hold something. I'm in my nice dress. Well, it's not an oil can. I just need you to hold something real quick like I might get the hem dirty, Beth said. Well, then you'll be on an adventure with me. Come on. No, we got to get through this snow. Fix that tire. He groaned. He wasn't ever going to get to propose to this woman, how stubborn she was. He slammed the wrench into the wheel. And he shouted, I fixed it! Even though there's nothing needing fixing. Hurry, she said, I got to use the ladies' room. He chuckled to himself. They drove for a while through ice and snow and cold. Hurry, she said, hurry, please. Well, you don't want me to wreck now, do you? They went for twice as long as the last stretch. I'm not going to make it, Remy. Pull over. Yes, ma'am. What, you want to go out in the woods? Sure. She said, keep this car running and warm. Yes, ma'am. She hopped out and she walked towards the trunk. He turned on the radio and waited, and snow fell in wisps like Mama Midge's old snow globe, whipping around as fast as he could crank it, but Beth didn't show. He changed the station. Another 6 songs played, still no Beth. He leaned over to her side of the car, rolled down her window. Beth, he called Beth! He shouted out into the woods. But a small voice, way closer than he expected, said, I'm here, Remy. No need to go on shouting. He looked over to his blind spot, and she was leaning up, squatting against the car. You okay? He asked. No, she said. His heart went to hammering. Well, what's wrong? What can I do? He was worried. Well, he heard a gulp louder than a damn cartoon. I'm stuck. What, like your knees got weak? No. What do you mean you're stuck? I squatted down to make water, and I leaned up against the car. You didn't. Buck ass like that? Yeah. Holy shit, your ass is frozen to the car? Yeah, don't shout. Please, Remy. Oh, God, I'm mortified. Well, how are you going to freeze, Beth? Don't I know it? Don't freeze for shame, he said. Well, what are we going to do? I got an idea, he said. Just give me a minute. He gave her a minute. Another 6 songs came on. Jitterbug songs. I don't have any ideas. She said, I'm getting cold. What's your idea, Remy? You're not going to like it, he said. Just tell me I'm freezing. I'll pee on you. You what? I figure you need hot water to melt the cold, and if you pull hard right as I pee on your ass, you'll either get off and be frozen for good. Oh, God, no. You got any other ideas? He asked her. They ain't even kissed yet. He waited and waited. Another Johnny Cash song came on, Ring of Fire. He giggled, thinking about the lyrics twice. No ideas. He said, okay, I'm coming. Wait, she said, okay. He said, just promise you won't look at my bum with the car metal above it. As long as you turn your head, don't look at me while I'm going. Oh, good God almighty, why I ever start dating you? Because I get you unstuck, he said. And he grunted and exited the car. He walked right up to her, and he forced himself very hard not to laugh. She looked like someone caught shitting in the seat of a carnival ride. Don't you look now. You neither, he said. She said. He looked in her eyes. Okay, turn your head. You're going to need to lean hard as you can towards the snow ditch. All right, she said. She pulled and turned away. Pull hard. Cracked sound in the ice gave. She fell face first in the snow. He looked at her, turned his head ashamed. She shot up, pulling up her drawers. Remy, he looked down, pulled up his pants. You said you wouldn't look. Oh, don't tell me you didn't sneak a peek when I fell. That's beside the point. He walked right to her, and he got down on one knee in the yellow snow. And he pulled out that glued ring. Will you marry me? She punched him. Hard. Twice. 3 times. She kicked him in the knee. Oh, God, lady, I just saved you from certain death. I could have saved myself. She kicked him again while he was down. Fine, he said. He got up. Then she said, yes. Yes, what? Yes, you could have? Yes, I'll marry you. Well, good Lord, I thought that's a no. Why'd you punch and kick me? Because my birthday's in 2 weeks and you're supposed to do it then, not while peeing on me to get me de-iced. How am I doing on time?
It was 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Can I do a little more?
Yes, of course.
That night, sitting up there, he fought a groundhog underneath the house. Technically, they had a full basement, but it didn't cover the entire floor plan. And some of the house, the newer part, had a crawl space. And it was somewhere down in that crawl space that Remy heard a rumbling around 2 in the morning. Beth said, "Oh God Almighty, the earth is swallowing the house." Like hell, Remy said, "I was dreaming about tournaments." "No need to talk about basketball. There's a monster under there," she said. "Not basketball, nights like Sir Lancelot used to fight in horseback with lances." And Remy, "I'm going." He got to going. Underneath that fiddleback, you guys know what a fiddleback is? It's a brown recluse spider. It's a super deadly bite. Trigger warning, I guess. Underneath that fiddleback-infested crawl space, he used an old deer spotlight, like hunters and the police both use in the dark woods. One for the living and the other one for the dead. At first, all Remy saw was fiddlebacks, and Remy was scared. Kid in his youth got bitten by one of those one time, and it was like death itself started to rot that boy's arm off, spreading like the plague, spreading like how Roddle spread a tree trunk struck by lightning until it killed that boy. He moved past slow, scared for his life and his limbs. And shining that light further, he saw one of them groundhogs that started digging on the north side. He got over there. And he didn't know if the thing had dug under it, under the whole house, under the wall. He looked up there, and he saw gnaw marks where they started to get to his brand new family room. And boy, was he ever mad. But he wasn't going to stick his hand under that hole to see. He wasn't about to get his hand eaten off by a groundhog. No, sir. Well, he crawled back past all them fiddleback nests with struggle and sweat and fear. And he went upstairs and he looked for a hand mirror, but he couldn't find one for the life of him, so he couldn't get a mirror. "Mom," he said to his wife, Beth, she'd gone to sleep. "Himo shit," he called her. "What?" she said. "Did you get it?" "No." "Well, try. Do you have a hand mirror?" "What do I need one of those for? Lena does my hair." "Damn it!" "What?" she asked. "Is it a curse?" "Not quite," he said. "Then why you curse it, Remy?" "Because damn it, Beth, sometimes I like 2 at 2 in the morning when the beasts of the netherworld have risen to tunnel my house." She snorted out a sigh. He said, "Get under there with the flashlight for me and stick your hand down in there." "You must be crazy," she said. "I'm saner than stainless steel." "No, you're crazy, because only a crazy man wouldn't have a spine to show his own curse like Adam did for Eve, asking his wife to grab hold of some monster in some pit that you got no spine yourself." Well, Brenda was standing in the doorway, their son, eating one of Beth's peanut butter cookies, munching loudly, grinning. "What the hell you want, son?" Remy said. Bryn munched loudly. "Oh, go on, don't let me stop you two." "You don't understand, son. Stay out of it." Bryn said. "Groundhogs under the house. What's to understand?" "Yeah, well, you go under there with that big flashlight and you stick your hand down in there, see if it's there, and then you can pull it out. I ain't going doodling for no groundhog." "Then shut up and go to bed," Remy said, "because it sounds like this whole house is as cowed as me." "What are you going to do?" Beth said. "Well, Holzapple's got a pistol, 32 caliber. Bryn said, "There you go. I'm leaving." She said, "You'll be shooting through the floor, and I ain't about to die while lying down in bed." She got out of bed and went to the closet, pulled out clothes to get ready. "I'll set up the lawn chairs." Brent went out and started that in a fire and got stuff for s'mores. Remy went over to Holzapple's. It's no soul's hour by that point. He starts banging on the door, and Jerry comes downstairs and opens the door and whispers in that hoarse way that madmen trying to stay quiet for sleeping wives that wear the pants will do. "Remy, what in God's name? Don't you use his name in vain," Remy said at a normal volume. "Whatever this is, it has nothing to do with vanity." "You need a new one," Remy said. "I build nice vanities. I'm a carpenter, you know." "What do you want?" Jerry didn't do too well on sleep. "Jerry," Miss Holzapple called down. "Oh, God," he said. "You see what you went and did?" "I didn't shout none," Remy said. "I was the one shouting." Miss Holzapple came down in her night. "Evening, Remy." "Evening," he said. "I'm sorry to wake you, Mama Holzapple, but I need to borrow your pistol." She gasped. "I have an intruder," he said. She gasped again. And Jerry suddenly sobered, said, "Come over here quick." Now, every man in southern Illinois has a closet or a trunk where he keeps the guns in case of armed rebellion like Bloody Williamson. Well, Jerry went to his. And one of them in there was this sawed-off 10 gauge with a double hair trigger Remy used to own back in the day. He'd gotten rid of it because it was a double-barrel shotgun for one, and because it was a 10 gauge for another, and because it was sawed off for a third, and because for a fourth, when you combine all that with a loose and faulty hair trigger on the back, and you squeeze the front trigger, the back trigger would pull off a shot as well, and you'd bruise your shoulder, accidentally shooting both barrels at the same time. And because for a fifth, if you bumped it just right, that hair trigger would go off all on its own, and when when it went off, it'd make the front one go too. So it was both barrels either way. So we sold it cheap to Jerry Holzapfel, hoping Jerry used it for parts because Jerry Holzapfel liked his guns. Well, that sawed-off, faulty 10-gauge was leaning in the closet full of buckshot while Jerry's in there rooting around for his .32 caliber pistol. When he bumped that faulty shotgun, it fell down on the floor. And the faulty trigger got squeezed and both barrels went off. When they went off, both boys jumped up like alley cats when they hear a wolf set to howl, and that shotgun blew a 3-foot round hole clean through Jerry's outer wall. And luckily, there's an old elm tree not too far away. It took most of the shot, but a couple of them little BBs went and shattered Jim Johnstone's window next door, and so he's up, shouting about hooligans breaking into his yard. Now, some people get really tight and tense when they're scared. Some people fight. Some people flee. But some people are more tightly wound than others. Some people spend so much time running around fighting and fleeing that when something really bad happens, they just go all slack like they took a morphine shot. How did that just happen? Miss Holzapfel asked, like hot chamomile tea. If it can happen, Jerry said, it'll happen to Remy. That sounds dark, she said. A guy named Moore wrote a lot about it. He said, what can't happen will happen. But that's both the bad and the good, Remy said. Not that just the bad that can happen will happen, the good that can happen will too. And if you happen upon bad things like tonight, in that moment you choose to happen your good on them bad things, more good than bad will happen in the end. I don't think I understand, said Miss Holzapfel. Sure it does, Jerry started. Shh, let's go cheer on Remy. So Remy loaded up the pistol, marched out, last night in the world, striding face first into the dark of the last night in the world, and by then the whole damn neighborhood's up. Standing around burning their son's fire in the front yard, cooking s'mores and talking about baseball and sipping hot toddies and watching and cheering everyone except the Texark focus. Remy crawls under the house to chase the monster out. Well, he crawled along the fiddleback nests and he looked up at them and one of them was dangling like it was going to drop on his nose. And he felt his heart set to pattering. And the good Lord said, Remy, have you ever seen the fiddleback giving birth to its young? Can't say as I have, Lord. He felt the good Lord smiling. And above him, that fiddleback started detaching an egg sac to its little cobweb. And then Remy saw all them egg sacs up above it had already laid. Did you know that each egg sac of a baby fiddleback spider has 300 baby spiders inside? Well, they started hatching just then, and the floor of his house, which is the roof over his head, started boiling with baby spiders, just boiling and boiling. Remy was sweating. He said, but people used to worship spiders, Lord. They're not gods. I am. I want to squash them all. They're not demons either. They got my spirit of life in them, Remy. Remy looked at the spider again, threatening to fall upon him. Sister Fiddleback, he said, I pray you be patient with me as I pass. He moved through unmolested. Well, there at the north side, he shined that light down in that hellhole where the groundhogs were, and there was plenty of yellow eyes down in there. And the good Lord said, Remy's hand shook on his pistol. Have you ever seen how pretty that groundhog can be when it digs? No, Lord, now's not the time. Seeing as how you aiming that death cannon at it, I think at high time they look like they're swimming, Remy. I made them that way. Remy aimed his gun. They're just doing how I made them to do. Digging through my house? Your house I gave you. I built it, Remy said. With hands I gave you, with a mind that received my gift of consciousness, with lungs that got my breath in them, with wood that came from the stock of trees my spirit told grow. Tell me which of these things did not come from the very dirt these groundhogs live and move in? Well, Remy didn't have no answer for that. He wanted to ignore the good Lord and put a bullet in those things and go to bed, especially with half the town cheering him on outside the cinder blocks. Remy, shit, Lord. Can I just wound him a little? What you do is your choosing, but they're as much mine as you are. You do well to remember that. I'm going to wound him, Remy said. He pulled off a shot, and he missed all four of them. And his ears went ringing, and them crazy-ass groundhogs came out, and they clawed at his face and his arms and scared out of their minds and went running all over that crawl space. And he started shooting at him left and right. My God, he was a horrible shot with a .32 caliber pistol. And he shot holes all through his family room floor, which had pictures and books and things up above, not least of which was the grandfather clock John David had made them as an anniversary present from the benches of pews from Young Chapel where they'd been married. Somehow, some way, Remy reloaded, wounded 2 groundhogs, and they ran off and never came back. He came out bloodied and beaten and wounded as the groundhogs. "Oh my God," Death said, "let's fix you up." The men cheered. The women covered their mouths. The children looked at his bloody face in horror. Remy was down for days, and then he had to get to work repairing both Jerry's wall and Jim Johnstone's window.
Amazing. That was 16 minutes. So we have 4 minutes.